Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am here today with Peg Duchesne. We're going to be talking about how to use words in your marketing message to get terrific results. So those of us who are entrepreneurs, I bet that you are as excited about this as I am. So my friends, welcome to this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. I'm Catherine Yarbrough. I'm your host today. I'm one of two hosts of this show. I'm also the global facilitator in the On Purpose Women global community and the creator of the Manifesting Clients Academy. And I am delighted to be here with Peg. Hello, Peg.
Hello, Catherine. It's so great to be with you today. Hello, everyone out there in live land.
Peg and we were just talking about how long have we known each other. I'm sure you know people like that. And Peg and I have circled around each other for somewhere between 10 to 12 years, maybe even longer. We met in person years ago in Columbia, Maryland, and then we've known each other on Facebook and stayed connected there. And in the last year, our circles have come together so that I have been seeing Peg on a regular basis, and it's so nice to see you regularly, Peg.
And likewise to you, Catherine. It's just been great. And I remember the Homewood Suites in Columbia, Maryland, where we met. And before you even thought about moving to Florida, and it's just such a small world how life intersects and keeps continuing to do so. So happy to be here, and hello.
Yes. So here's what I want to share with our listeners, Peg. I know you because we keep touching in Facebook land and in these communities that we're in, but I don't know a lot about what you do. So I'm sharing that with you. I'm sharing that with our listeners. Here's what Peg shared with me that she does. She's a communications consultant and a marketing strategist, and she shows entrepreneurs and business professionals how to get noticed by developing and delivering their marketing message. Peg is known as a message therapist because she massages words. So we're going to find out what all of that means in our time together, which I'm super excited about. And I just want to say we do have a visitor with us today, Estelle. Hello, Estelle. It's nice to see that you're here with us.
Estelle is my friend from Quebec City.
Oh,
so happy to have you with us. I'm going to lift up my Go Giver mug and say cheers.
oh,
because that's how we know one another. So yay.
That is great. Good. Okay. Well, so Estelle, since you know Peg, you may not have any questions, but if you do ask them, any of our listeners ask questions. We love questions. I love questions. All right. But I do have some questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Fire away.
Okay. Since we're going to talk about how words matter with your marketing, I actually think a lot of my people on purpose, solopreneurs and small business owners don't really know what marketing is. That, we hear that term, and over the years, I've given it a definition for myself that I share, but I'm curious from your perspective, since it's part of what you do, what is marketing?
Marketing is a mechanism by which you can tell people what you do and do it in such a strategic way that each one builds a foundation, and then you have building blocks that build upon that foundation. I mostly work in the digital marketing space. So I develop and deliver the digital messaging. What that means is social media or their online presence. I love to work with my clients to do a really robust About Us section of their website, their LinkedIn profile, if they use LinkedIn, those kinds of things. And then blogging, of course, is a great way to post on social media, but then point back to the website. And we all know that our website should be the hub of your marketing, but then all kinds of spokes come out from that central hub, and everything should point back to the website. So I work with my clients to develop a strategy, lots of tips and time-saving tools that I use or help them use, and so much easier to have a strategy and know what we're going to talk about this week or this month, rather than opening up your computer or going to your phone and going, what was I going to do a live about today? What am I going to post about today? What? Staring at that blank screen doesn't help. So if we strategize and we build on the previous messages, that tends to be much more successful in terms of your audience understanding who you are and what you do. So it's a
Okay.
long-winded way of talking about marketing, but that's how I approach it.
Okay. So marketing is communication.
Absolutely.
It's about how we communicate with our potential clients about what we do so that they can decide if they want to find out more, right?
Right. Exactly.
And whether or not they want to go to our website, which you call the hub. So we really, as entrepreneurs, I completely agree, having a good website is super important. Now, some people I work with are just getting started. So I will tell people, even though they don't believe me, you don't have to have a website to get started.
You're absolutely right. You don't. And I know, Catherine, that you're not much of a LinkedIn person, but it depends on what your business is and where your audience is. So LinkedIn can be where you point people to, that center of the hub. It doesn't need to be a website. If you have a landing page and you're promoting an event, that would be the center of your hub. In well-established businesses, the website tends to be that center and the spokes go in and out from there. But a LinkedIn profile, a landing page, any kind of device that's the center, and then other things all point to it and point out as well as in.
Yeah, and as we're speaking about this and the whole idea, once a person commits to their business, most people, it's a good idea to put together a website. And then it's a good idea every few years, in my opinion, to look through that website, make sure what you've got on there is up to date, edit it. I really like for my clients to be able to edit their own website, but some people don't know how or don't want to, which is fine. But we need to do it regularly. And then to look at also I love your term, the spokes, and how what we're doing on social media both points to, and then we send people out. It's this back and forth thing. I like that image.
Yeah, that's the analogy that most people understand, whether they ride a bicycle or not, they know about the spokes on the bike. And in terms of keeping your website fresh, that's one reason why I love to have my clients do a blog, or if they're in the habit of doing a Facebook Live on some kind of regular basis, you post that on your website and also point to your website from your blog or from your Facebook Lives. I know, Catherine, you're right now doing a Facebook Live challenge, and so many people are getting over their fear of being in front of the camera and doing that. So, those are all ways that you can post new content to your website. So while it's really good to review everything every 2 years or even more frequently, it's also very important to be posting new content on a regular basis, because that's how the Google and the algorithms work to make sure your website ranks higher in the search engine optimization. I work with my clients when they do a blog post or any kind of post, use hashtags, use those keywords so that you can keep your search engine optimization optimized, right? Your SEO, the O stands for optimization. So yeah. And when I have a conversation with my clients and they're ready to have a website, or if they're revising their website, I'm a huge fan of WordPress, because just like what you said, Catherine, you like your clients to be able to edit their own websites and make changes, upload blogs. And a WordPress, if you can send an email and you can edit a Word document, you should be able to, with a couple of lessons on where to point and click, you should be able to handle WordPress. It's so user-friendly and easy, and you don't have to wait for your webmaster to get time on his or her schedule to book you in to change a date or change a time or something pretty simple. So, or upload a new image or anything like that. So WordPress is my go-to when I'm building sites for my clients, or if I'm having if I'm working with a collaborative partner to get the content. Lots of times a web designer will get frustrated with their client because they built the mainframe and they're waiting for the content. And the client says to the web designer, I'm paying you all this money and now you need me to do what? So if I'm a collaborative partner with one of those web designers, I'll come in, create the content with the client, and then the webmaster's very happy because it all gets finished. And usually they don't want to keep working with the client to do the social media. And so now that I have a working relationship with their client, I can step in and do that marketing piece after the site is built. I also build some websites for people as well. Anyway, so sort of all the aspects of marketing. What I focus on is the content creation and the strategy to get your message out on a consistent basis.
So you talk about words mattering, and I'm curious about that. I mean, so there's content creation and there's being consistent, there's having our website and all the spokes. Let's talk about words mattering and see how it all fits together.
So that's such a great question, and I'm glad you raised it. I'm a very values-based content creator. So I work with my clients to figure out what their own values are, and also what might be the values of their ideal client, the prospects they're trying to reach. And then through that system of identifying values and what's most important, we can then create a message that speaks to their ideal client so that they're attracting the kinds of people they like to work with. And I use some tools that help me massage the message and reach the ideal client for my client.
Can you give me an example of what you mean, like a practical real life example?
Sure. So some people are very action oriented. They're like, I don't care how much whatever it is going to cost. If I think I need that, I'm going to spend my money and get it. I'll figure out how to pay for it later. I just know I need this and I'm ready to move forward. Another kind of person is going to want to ask all kinds of questions. They need to do a lot of research before they're ready to move forward with you. So we would try to preempt their asking the questions by saying, you may be wondering about this, so that you're, getting ahead of the obstacle or the barrier that they might feel. Some people are very budget conscious, and if your product or service might be over what they anticipated they might be spending, I would then have the message be what the value is and why the extra expense would end up being so much more worth it, because you're going to avoid some kind of risk or some kind of, negativity by not making the investment of what it should be. And then some people like myself are what we call nurturing, and they're all about the relationship. And if your company does a certain percentage of income and proceeds go to a nonprofit, that's going to speak volumes to a nurturing person, for instance. And so I talk with my client about their own values and then what they think their values are of their ideal client. And then from that, it's called the bank system: blueprint, action, nurturing, knowledge. The blueprint is the person that is real budget concerned and restricted and likes things in a certain order. Nurturing is like myself. Action is the one that doesn't care how much it costs. If they want it, they're going to find a way to get it. And the knowledge is the kind of person that wants all the answers before you ever get started. So if we know that my client's ideal client is the kind that's going to ask a lot of questions, we try to develop a frequently asked questions kind of message so that they can go and get their answers in one place and do the research and give them what they're looking for before you go down a rabbit hole and waste time, kind of thing. So
well, okay, so this is interesting because it wasn't exactly where I was thinking we were going to go. I was thinking about things like titles for programs. I'm working on a new program and the words matter about the title for the program. But I'm hearing you speak to is another level of communication. And all of these things are part of our marketing, how we communicate, what we do call our programs or our website or, what we title ourselves, all of that. But then also the content on the webpage, or when we're presenting and sharing about an offer, we can address those 4 different types of personalities, it sounds like,
Right.
or values.
And even when you're creating a headline or a tagline, in networking groups where you have 30 seconds to say who you are and what you do, there's different ways to craft and deliver that message based on who your audience is or who you're trying to fill your funnel with a certain kind of person. And so that's where we get to the words matter kind of thing. I love to brainstorm on titles and take polls, A, B, which one do you like best kind of thing, because certain words resonate with certain kinds of people and then might not, it's not like you dislike it, but it's like not going to light your fire. Whereas a different word or phrase could in fact be exactly what will get that magnet to suck you in, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I tend to think that I always go personal, like what's my experience? I tend to think that my clients probably are a distribution across the 4 value system. And is that normal, or do some people really just attract a certain type?
We're all part of all 4. It's just the level of which 1 or 2 rises above the others. And then my code is nurturing first, action second. Blueprint is in my 3rd position, which we call the stress position. So if I get annoyed or frustrated or stressed out, I'm going to say, what does the book say? What's the policy and procedure? We should be following the system. So we're all part of all 4. It's just what level. And I've been involved with the bank methodology for about 5.5, 6 years or more now. And the more I have studied this, I can lots of times identify what my client is before they take the 90-second quiz. And lots of times I'm spot on, or I might have the 3rd and 4th code flipped. But if they do the in-depth, evaluation, it might be just 2 or 3 points off. So, and what I talk with my clients about is a lot about their ideal client and who we're trying to attract. So, and one of my secret tips is that with this bank methodology that I use, there's an artificial intelligence piece. And I was trained in what we call power scripting, which is writing to all 4. Just like you said, I would imagine my people are a little bit of everything. Writing to all 4, or if we know their action first, or if we know they're going to be the blueprint type or the kind that are knowledge and want all the information before they make a decision. I've been practicing and skilled at writing a message based on what our goal and outcome is. There's an artificial intelligence component that came out more recently that after I do my work, I run it through the AI, mostly just to double check, but there's a way to tweak it to make it even more balanced or more inclined towards whatever specific type or top 2 types that we're shooting for. So that's one of my tips, is that artificial intelligence is becoming more and more into our lives, whether we like it or not. I mean, most people have either an Alexa device or some kind of Google thing that helps us with our homes and our lights and our heat, all those things. And, even the, if you pick up your phone and you record, that's an artificial intelligence that's doing the transcription for you. So I love the AI tool that I'm able to access. And like I said, I usually like to do my messaging first without the AI, but I double check my work and hone it, fine tune it at the end with the AI tool, the artificial intelligence tool.
So, okay. So just to be clear, when you're working with someone, well, first of all, as an entrepreneur, we need to communicate. We need to email, we need to write our website, we need to do our LinkedIn. If our clients are on LinkedIn, personally, I'm not, I'm on Facebook more. But we need all these things, and it is sometimes daunting to write it all.
Right.
You were talking about the website thing. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard about someone who pays a web person to put together their website, and then it's a year later before they get them content. So you are a great person for people to reach out to have a conversation about the content for their website, the content for their emails. And as well, you also help people strategize on social media to make sure they're getting their message out correct. Am I correct? So if that kind of stuff is hard, or you don't have time for it, Peg, what should people do if they want to have a conversation? What happens if they work with you? What's the process?
So the very first thing, Catherine, would be that we would have a discovery call or a conversation. It's just a conversation. And we would talk about what their goals are and what kind of strategy I see would be good for them. And then if they feel I would be a good fit in their marketing plan to develop, and sometimes they hire me just to develop the strategy and then they have staff that will implement it. Sometimes they hire me to work with them and train their staff on how to do it. And sometimes they hire me to just do it for them. And so business owners and entrepreneurs are pretty busy running their own business, and they could care less about figuring out which platform would be best for them, what the algorithm is, when the best time to post would be. And when I left corporate America 15 years ago, what attracted me to leaving, making other people looking good and doing something for myself, was Facebook was just coming on the scene, and it intrigued me so much that I wanted to learn more about it. But brand new out of corporate America, I needed to do something to make money before I could generate clients. I became a project manager for a web design company. And that's how I built my skills about websites and web design and how I understand what goes into the websites. My joy and passion is much more in creating the message, and 2 or 3 months into the strategy implementation, my clients get an aha, the light bulb goes on. You can see it in their eyes, like, this is happening. Look at my engagement, that my statistics are going up, that kind of stuff. And so the first step would be to have a conversation with me.
Okay.
And I know we've put in the show notes the website and my email address, and I'm on LinkedIn. You can certainly message in the community here. Peg, I want to talk to you, and we'll move it forward with a conversation. I would love it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I know your website is in there. Your email is not. I love the habit of posting emails. I get too many icky things, spammy things.
I tell people I check my email 3 times a day. I check my text messages every hour. So if you sent me an email and I haven't answered it in a while, it might have gone to spam, or I might, you sent it right after I was in my email and I'm not going to be in it for another 4 hours. If it's something I need to look at, send me a text, kind of thing.
Interesting. Yeah, it's so interesting. Our communication patterns have changed over the last several years with texting and messaging and all these things. So,
and I saw a meme recently that said, you've reached the voicemail of someone who doesn't use a phone. Either text me or don't bother leaving a voicemail, because I'm not going to listen. And I thought, you're so right. We have come a long way. I mean, I know, when we got the phone on the wall, and then we got the cord that was 28, 30 feet long, and you could walk around and cook dinner while you still.
Oh yeah, that was really great. Yeah.
I mean, we've come a long way, baby, for sure. But yeah, communications is what it's all about, right? Marketing is communication, and we still do it. We just do it in a little different way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just curious. It sounds like some of your clients are small business owners, and some may be solopreneurs. I'm just curious, are they all small business owners, or what type of industry do you typically work with?
I don't niche down to a specific industry. I've been involved with a networking organization that's worldwide in 70 countries around the world. And we meet on a weekly basis, and there's an insurance person, a real estate agent, a mortgage lender, life insurance, CPAs. And I feel that my part of the breadth of knowledge that I come with and can share with my clients is that for 15 years, I've been in meetings with them each and every week with people like them each and every week, and gotten to know and understand their businesses, know what the pain points are of their client and how we can speak to that pain point to get them into the funnel or in the door to work with my client who's a similar person. So it's a good balance of small business owners and solopreneurs. The commonality between them all is, as I said earlier, they're so busy running their business or doing their daily chores, they know marketing's important, but they could care less about the algorithms and how to do it or where to do it. And they just want to turn it over to somebody with experience. And that's where I come in.
Yeah. So that is awesome. So whether or not somebody needs some help with putting the content together for their website or their social media or email, probably email marketing too. You probably write content for that too.
I do. Most of my clients are either using Constant Contact or Keep, which is the old Infusionsoft. I'm well versed in MailChimp or some of the others, but if they don't yet have something in place, those are my two go-to. And I have a couple of nonprofit clients, and Constant Contact has a really great nonprofit program that gives them a savings if they have their 501c3 or the certification that they are a nonprofit. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So in your opinion, do your clients need to learn this bank approach, or do you just need to understand it and then you do the work for them?
Yeah, they don't need to know bank. They just need to spend 90 seconds taking this little quiz so that I make sure I know who they are. And then we have a conversation about, now that you know this about yourself, what would you say your ideal client probably is in terms of what are their top two characteristics that you want to speak to attract them to your client, your business, your services, your product, whatever. And then we go from there. They don't need to understand bank. I do, and I do understand it. So that's the way that works.
Interesting. So anything else about words or market that your words matter with your marketing? Anything else you want to share with our listeners?
One of the tips I wanted to leave is that, about a year or two ago, I had the privilege today of voting, and I don't want to make this political in any way, shape, or form, but I will be an election judge in Maryland next Tuesday when we have our gubernatorial primary. And because they have me assigned as a judge at another place, I was able to take advantage of early voting and go today and vote. And a year and a half or more ago, when we were in the midst of lots of turmoil, and when you make negative comments on social media, it stays there forever. And so don't do it. Keep your words positive. If my mother used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. How many people have heard that before, right? And it's so true on social media. And the thing is, on Facebook, if you click a dislike or a sad face or an angry face, Facebook doesn't know the difference between a thumbs up, a heart, or a frown or mad. They just know it's engagement. And so what we were seeing a lot of, and what I found myself telling my clients, is just stay away from the conversation. Like I said, if you don't have anything nice to say, Facebook shows you more of what you engage in, whether it's positive or negative engagement. And so if you're giving an angry face, they're going to keep showing you more because they don't know it's an angry face. They just know you engaged. So I just want to put that out there as one of the tips I'm sharing. So share the love, share the thumbs up, be positive. And if there's something negative, turn that around and give them a possible solution that maybe they haven't thought of, but keep everything positive because it sticks around. And if you don't want to see it, don't engage in it because Facebook doesn't know, they just give it to you more. And Facebook and Instagram are cousins to one another. So it's the same kind of thing, whichever of those platforms you're on.
Yeah. Thank you for that. You know, Peg, my experience on Facebook is practically totally positive. I would say 99% positive. So when people complain about Facebook and all the negativity on there, I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about, because what I have incredibly positive, wonderful friends, and I do what you're talking about. Anything that I don't like, I ignore. So
right. And
it works for me.
Some people just like to complain and mope, and you know, you'll get more of the same if that's what you engage in. So that's my tip for the day.
Thank you. Thank you for that wisdom. I appreciate it, Peg.
Absolutely.
I love it. So I'm so glad you joined me today. And this has been a delight to get to know you better, to have a better sense of the service that you provide in the world and your clients and the work that you can do for people. It's good for me to know. And listeners, reach out to Peg. We've got her website in the description. And she's on LinkedIn a lot. You're going to find her there. It's your name, I assume, Peg Duchesne, right?
It is. And when this is over, I'll go in and I'll post the link to my LinkedIn for sure. That's a great place to meet. The reason I love LinkedIn so much is, as I said in my bank code, I'm nurturing first. What fascinates me is those second and third degrees of stuff. It's like a spider web, that ripple effect of your friend knows your friend knows your friend. And it's kind of, that's what jazzes me about LinkedIn. So I do spend a fair amount of time there. And it's where, if my clients are trying to reach professional people, that's where the professionals hang out. It's not what you had for lunch today. It's what's happening in your business this week, kind of thing. So
yeah, good.
So I will post my LinkedIn profile in the Facebook group. And when the replay goes out, I'll do the same. And that's the best way, I think.
Thank you so much. So, my friends, thank you for joining us, Peg. Thank you, everyone, for joining this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. Tomorrow, which is Friday, July 15th, Jenny Robertson, the other host of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk shows, will be back talking to Marnie Simpson about divorce coaching. So if you're going through a divorce, or you know someone who is getting ready to go through a divorce, instead of not feeling good about it, well, it's kind of hard to feel good about it, but come tune in to what Marnie has to say so that you can get it right from the start. I'll be back Tuesday, July 19th, and I'll be talking to Lilia Shoshana Ray about 3 questions to guide your on purpose life. And if you loved this interview, please share it right here from Facebook. I'm going to be uploading it in the next 48 hours to YouTube, so you can share it from there as well. And we have over 100, maybe even over 120 amazing interviews and presentations that have happened either on the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show or in the On Purpose Woman gatherings. We've got some great speakers. We're all wonderful on purpose women sharing our message, doing great work. So you're going to find those in the Real Women, in the On Purpose Woman Global Community YouTube channel. So if you have not yet, please go over to YouTube, type in On Purpose Woman Global Community and subscribe. So, and check out any of the past videos. But also, we're looking to get to 100 subscribers so we can change that URL. So I'm so glad that you're with me today, Peg, and everybody, I will see you all next time.
Thanks, Catherine.